Hey, what's up guys? My name's Joyce and welcome back to the YouTube channel. What has been going on this past month? Oh my god, so much. So much has happened. For those of you who don't know, I was actually living out of my Honda Civic in a tent for about 2 months until it got into a hit and run accident. So that happened. I ended up flying out to Long Island where my parents are and staying with them for a little while. And of course I've been spending a lot of time in New York City. And I thought I would do a short little video about some of the top places that I've been this month. And sort of a little disclaimer, these aren't the best places in New York. These are just the best of my first month. Yeah, there's been some really interesting things that I've seen this month and done. I feel like a tourist a little bit, but it's also been really fun to explore and try all of the things that New York has to offer. So before we get started, I actually wanted to tell you guys about this app that I use. It's called Swarm. A good friend of mine recommended it to me. It actually tracks all of the places that I've been, and I have to check into these places, like Yelp check-in or Google Timeline, but this is the one that I got sucked into. And so I've been tracking it since about June 19th, and it said that I've been to about 22 bars, 10 parks, 4 nightclubs, 4 Chinese restaurants, 4 Italian restaurants. I'll add the screenshot here, but that's kind of what I'm looking off of as well to see all the places that I've been this month. First off, let's talk about the best food that I've had in New York. I fucking love food. And it's probably the number one thing that makes me happiest in life. So food I take really seriously, and New York City is the best place to get amazing food. Most of it has been Asian or Italian, but anything really like noodle based, I really enjoy. I would say the top place that I enjoyed was actually a little pho place called Saigon Shack. And the reason I enjoyed it the most is it's just so simple, it was so hearty, and the soup was so delicious. And after those long nights partying, it was like the perfect hangover meal. That would be my top food place for the month. Another thing that New York is really known for are its rooftop bars. The best rooftop bar experience I probably had was at a water tower bar in Brooklyn. I think that's what it's called, water tower. Is that what it's called?
It is.
It's called Water Tower Bar in Brooklyn. Basically, you can climb up these steps all the way to this really cool artsy water tower and get just an amazing view. And the thing is, it's like a lot of New Yorkers say, it's like once you've been here for a while, all the rooftop bars start blending together. And this one really stood out to me, so I thought it would be worth mentioning in this section. Next, we have the best drink that I had in New York this month. And I would say that it was a drink I had at Up and Up, which is a little speakeasy type of cocktail bar. And it's very classy, and you walk in, you know, like $20 a pop. They have this section called Insanely Good Cocktails. Basically, it's their take on classic cocktails. So the one that I had gotten is called the Insanely Good Midori Sour. And the reason I chose it is because it has egg yolk in it, and I fucking love a good egg yolk cocktail. I love drinks that have egg white in it, and I always have to try it to see how it is. So I got their Insanely Good Midori Sour with egg white, and that stands out to me in the blur of drinks that I've had this month. Best concert venue. I technically only went to like one real concert, but the venue was amazing, and it reminds me a lot of Red Rocks in Colorado, if any of you guys have been there. So it's called Avant Gardner, that's the name of the venue, and then they have specific stages within, and the one we went to was called Brooklyn Mirage. It was definitely top notch, one of the best concert venues I've ever been to, with just like the lighting and the effects and the crowd and the energy. It was just super cool, and definitely one of the top venues I've been to. Next, best nightclub experience. I would say one of the nightclubs that really stood out to me was House of Yes. So it's in Bushwick, and it's this super artsy nightclub where you go in and there's a bunch of bizarre things. There's this massive disco ball, and they were playing, I think, I don't remember actually, but there were these dancers that were dancing out of cages, and I was just like, whoa, this is so cool. And that definitely stood out in my range of nightclub experiences. All right, best dessert. The best dessert I had this month was probably this Asian inspired rolled ice cream. It was really fucking good. I got this green tea rolled ice cream and had little Oreo bits in it. And also, just to be extra, you can add a bubble waffle to kind of wrap the whole thing. And it was ginormous, but it was so good. I've also had like gelatos and different ice creams while here. That was freaking amazing. Also, watching them make it was super cool. The most fun experience that I had in the month was probably something called Sip and Pour. No, Paint and Pour. Basically, it's an open bar. You can order as many drinks as you want. The instructors there lead you through a painting class. So I went on a little double date and we painted a picture of mountains. The drinks were a lot stronger than they initially appeared. So this is the painting that I made. My own little creative addition is the lightning. It's storming in my painting. So yeah, and for some reason these trees are just floating on the water. I'm not sure why that is. I even asked the instructor, I was like, why are these trees just floating here? And he was like, I have no idea. That was a really fun night. Coolest decor slash ambiance would definitely be the sort of nightclub slash restaurant called Tao. Before I went, I wasn't sure if it was a nightclub or a restaurant, but I think it's both. I think what it is, I think there's a restaurant on the top floor and a nightclub downstairs. But we were only in the restaurant area. And when you walk in, it's just, the aesthetics are super cool. Like, I'll just add some pictures here so you guys can see it because I'm not very good at explaining this. It's Asian inspired and it was cool. Some of the best sports that I've played in New York include an afternoon of ping pong. Also been playing a lot of pool and trying to get better at that. And also we played some mini golf, so that was also super fun. But whether or not you consider those sports, whatever. It's been fun. Oh, I've also been playing a lot of chess. It's kind of an e-sport. Some would consider that it's an e-sport. And before it was on the internet, it's sort of just a mental sport of sorts. But anyway, best speakeasy. There's a lot of speakeasies here in New York. And some of them are just like called speakeasies because it's in the style of one, but they're obviously not speakeasies because they're like just facing the street and not very hidden. But there was one that I visited that is apparently one of the oldest speakeasies, and you had to go down like this trash walkway thing. And actually when we first got there, we went down the wrong trash chute, and yeah, the bouncer was like, that's the trash. And so we had to walk down this other hallway and you go all the way to the back, and it definitely feels authentic, like you're trying to drink in secret. They have these little drinks served in teacups, I guess to add to the Prohibition styled theme there, because I guess if they got discovered, you're sipping out of a teacup instead of something that looks like you're an alcohol dispenser type thing. I don't know what I'm saying. But that was super fun and felt really authentic. So in general, it's been a really fun month in New York City. For the foreseeable future, I'm probably gonna stay here. I know you're probably thinking, oh wow, like Joyce has done a lot of partying in New York, and that has been true. However, I'm trying to lean towards more healthy things, drinking less, trying out some of these yoga events that they have around the city, more arts and culture, and trying to just explore all the facets of New York City and what it has to offer. I'm excited to continue keeping you guys updated and showing you guys the journey here in New York. If you're curious to learn more about my off-grid adventures, you can check out this older video of mine where I talk about some of the things I brought with me or was intending to bring with me in the Honda Civic as I was living on the road. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.